I realise it's not the most exciting of subjects, but tell me a little bit more about financial protection and what sort of cover I might need.
Sure, I mean, it might not be the most exciting of topics, but it is one of the most crucial and important topics in the house buying process. So obviously you're taking on a huge financial commitment. And as part of that process, you really should be seeing a financial advisor about the protection insurance part of it as well. So obviously what would be to happen if you're buying as a couple or as a family and one of you was to unfortunately pass away, you've lost that person's income and ability to contribute towards the mortgage and living expenses. So you should 100% be looking at life insurance to make sure you're covering that area. But there's other parts of insurances that we want to protect as well.
Okay, so what about if I just can't work for a period of time?
Yeah, it depends what the reason is that you can't work, but if it's anything to do with an illness or accident or medical condition, you can cover that with something called income protection insurance. Now what that does, it pays a percentage of your salary tax-free until the point that you're able to go to work because you're better and recovered, or unless it had like an end point that you set. So you might have gone for a budget option of 1, 2 or 5 years or up until retirement. Now why that's crucial, of course, unfortunately somebody passing away is financially ruinous for a family, but if somebody is unable to work for the rest of their life due to whatever medical reason, then you've not just lost that person's ability to create and generate an income, but you've also have to pay for their life expenses as well. So this is where it can be more financially ruinous by somebody not being able to work for the rest of their life. There's also critical illness cover that needs to be considered as well, and that pays out in the event of a critical illness or diagnosis of a critical illness. But where this is really important and really overlooked, I think, by most people, say for example there's a couple and one of you gets a critical illness. Of course, the other partner is going to want to take time off work to look after the family and the partner, but there's no income support in that scenario because they're choosing to take time off work to look after their family. So this is where critical illness cover can play a very important part of that role. You know, it might even be used for adaptations to the home or to maybe to get some more private or medical treatments that aren't available on the NHS or speed the process up. But the most important bit is, I think, making sure that the actual stress and the burden is eased.
I think that's something that I can imagine that not many people have talked about at all, really.
Yeah, people don't usually think about it, and it's one of those morbid topics that you don't want to approach and talk about. And then, of course, there's the financial aspect, which people don't want to pay for it.
Is it something that's going to cost me a lot of money? Are these covers going to be an expensive outlay? Or
there's usually one of the biggest objections is like, oh, this is expensive, I don't want to pay for that. But if you consider that's expensive, one of the most expensive things would be being unable to work, and it's also thinking about what happens to your families in that scenario. But of course you can get budget cover, so you can get things like shorter term or lower cost or lower entry point insurances, and then just review that every couple of years to make sure it's appropriate and tailored for your needs. But the worst thing you can do is just bury your head in the sand and not have any cover.
And who should I be talking to about this?
You absolutely be approaching a financial advisor.
Brilliant, thank you. Well, it's certainly a little bit more interesting now, but it sounds like it's something that's absolutely crucial and needs thought about.
Yeah, completely crucial.